Hello, I'm Stella Ferris, and you've crash landed on the Monster Catchers Journal podcast. I hope you enjoy this episode today, where I talk about a glyph called Tick Wick. He's a living hourglass. May Zelthar shine his beautiful light down on you. That's the god of Nibiru. Hope you guys enjoy. We found him near the outer wall of terraformia, a small wooden hourglass half buried in the grass, golden sand flowing too fast. Tick, 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 then suddenly wick, slow. Two wide eyes blinked open inside the glass, the sand gathered into a tiny wobbling shape. He made a soft chirping noise. Boom Boom stepped forward. Ba-boom! Tick Wick flinched, time slowing instantly. Leaves froze midair. The wind stretched into a low hum. Boom Boom moved in slow motion. Ba-boom! Tick Wick trembled harder. The sand dropped all at once. Time surged forward, grass yellowed, stone cracked, a metal lantern rusted and collapsed, in seconds. Boom Boom stumbled. Ba-boom! Time snapped back violently, everything stabilized. Tick Wick curled inward, sand barely moving. He didn't mean to do it. He was scared of his own power, his own shadow. A mirror fracture split open behind us, shadow energy seeped through the cracks. Tick Wick felt it before we did. His glass rattled. Tick, tick, tick. Time thickened. Heavy. Boom Boom tried to step in front of me. Ba-boom! Even slowed. He stood firm. Tick Wick scrambled behind my boots, pressing against me, seeking safety. The shadow beast lunged. Tick Wick panicked. Time didn't stop. It exploded forward. The creature aged into dust midair. Stone cracked and healed in the same second. The sky flickered from day to dusk to day again. Boom Boom grabbed out onto me. Ba-boom! I picked up the hourglass gently. It's okay, you're safe. I turned him over. The sand shifted, flowed steady. The world stabilized. Tick Wick peeked out. Tick Wick! Soft. Careful. Tick Wick! He nudged my hand. Boom Boom leaned down. Ba-boom! This time Tick Wick didn't flinch. The sand flowed normally, steady, calm. 1 minute everything was fine. Then the next, it changed, and it happened fast. Too fast. We were near the eastern cliffs of terraformia when the mirrors opened. No warning, no speech, just a fracture in the air. Orion stepped through. Tick Wick trembled instantly. The sand inside him began to race. I grabbed for him too late. A thread of black silk shot from the portal and wrapped around the hourglass frame. Tick Wick squeaked. Time stuttered. Boom Boom lunged. Ba-boom! But Orion was already retreating. The mirror sealed. Tick Wick was gone. We tracked the distortion to an abandoned observatory tower. Inside, clocks hung from the ceiling, webs covered the walls, and in the center, a glass containment sphere. Tick Wick suspended inside, sand frozen mid-fall. Beside him hovered Mothich. Its wings were no longer soft and dusty. They were threaded with gold, moving in unnatural patterns. Orion stood between them. You see, Stella Ferris, instinct is wasted without direction. He didn't splice them with machines. He forced proximity. Temporal pressure. Mothich wrapped its silk around the hourglass, not webbing, threads of compressed seconds. Tick Wick panicked. Time accelerated inside the sphere. Mothich aged, then reversed, then flickered. Their energies began overlapping. Silk hardened into glass-like fibers. Sand began flowing through Mothich's wings, not draining, circulating, one pulse, two pulses, then sink. Tick, flutter, tick, flutter. The sphere shattered. What floated in the center was no longer separate. A new form hovered there, an hourglass body suspended in a cocoon of living wings. Sand flowed through the veins of silk. Eyes blinked from within both glass and shadowed thorax. Tick Wick chirped in fear. Mothich hissed in confusion. They weren't merged mentally, but biologically, energetically. They were bound, one organism, two instincts. The room warped. Time sped up in a burst, then slowed to crawl. Orion smiled. Perfect. A temporal engine with instinctual defense. The fused glyphs panicked. Seconds peeled off the walls. Metal rusted. Webs regrew instantly. Boom boom charged. Ba-boom! The shockwave disrupted the temporal field just enough for me to reach the creature. I grabbed the hourglass core. It's okay. You're safe, both of you. The sand slowed. The wings steadied for a moment. Balance. Orion stepped back toward a mirror fracture. You can keep them, Stellaferris. I already learned what I needed. He vanished. The tower began collapsing, aged by unstable time bursts. I flipped the hourglass core. The second reset. The wings folded protectively around it. Together, not fighting, not fully fused in mind, but inseparable in body. Boom Boom stood beside us, softly. Ba-boom! The creature hovered shakily. Tick, flutter. I couldn't believe Orion left the merged glyphs behind. But when I really looked, I understood why. The creature hovered unsteadily in front of us, hourglass core, silk wings, but the sand flowed wrong, too smooth, too obedient. Tick Wick was never calm like this. Mothich was never silent. These two didn't fidget, didn't chirp, didn't react when Boom Boom stepped closer. Ba-boom! Nothing. No ripple in time, no nervous flutter. That's when it hit me. These aren't them. Orion hadn't abandoned his experiment. He'd swapped it. What we were looking at was a manufactured fusion. A hollow echo stitched together to observe results. The real Tick Wick, the real Mothich, gone. Taken somewhere far worse. If Orion succeeded in merging the originals, not forcing them, but breaking and reprogramming them, the time panic from Tick Wick, combined with Mothich's endless replication cycle, it wouldn't tear a city, it would tear a world. It would cascade, time folding in on itself, reality looping until explosion. Not fire, not light, just everything happening at once. The universe would choke on itself. My detector chimed. Client request still active. Hartling, priority capture. Client, Ava. I shut it off. Ava will have to wait. Boom Boom looked up at me. Ba-boom! I know, I said softly, but if Orion finishes this, there won't be a universe left to deliver anything in. The counterfeit fusion twitched. Cracks formed in its hourglass core, silk unraveled. It wasn't stable. It was listening, somewhere through time, distortion, and echo. Tick Wick felt me. Mothich felt fear. Not Orion's fear, mine. The air warped. The fake fusion shattered into harmless sand and dead silk. And then a pulse. Not forced, not panicked. Intentional. Time flowed, not because Tick Wick was scared, because he chose to steady it. Mothich's wings wrapped inward, not to bind, but to protect. Silk and sand synchronized, no drain, no panic, no surge. The hourglass reshaped, wider, stronger. The wings fused cleanly into the glass frame, veins glowing gold. Two instincts stopped pulling in opposite directions. They aligned, one fear, one trust, one body. The new glyph hovered before us, not frantic, not silent, balanced. The sand flowed in a loop, figure eight. The wings beat in slow, measured rhythm. Two eyes opened, calm, aware but not intelligent, in a way people are. Aware like storms are aware. Like gravity, Boom Boom stepped forward, quiet, but boom. The glyph tilted its head, tick, flutter, not a chirp, not a hiss, a soft, steady sound. I had Mothwick, and he was incredible, balanced, stable, powerful. But that's exactly why Orion would want him, because if Orion forced a fusion, it wouldn't create something like Shadowclaw. It would create an obsidian glyph. And those are wrong. Obsidian glyphs aren't born. They're forced. Two beings stripped of instinct, overridden, compressed, their energies crushed together until only shadow remains. Not harmony, not balance, just domain and domination. Unlike Shadowclaw, who chose the dark and shaped it, obsidian glyphs are victims, and when they form, reality bends in sharp, unstable angles. Mothich hovered beside me. Tick, flutter. The sand inside him moved in smooth, infinite loops. His wings shimmered with quiet gold. But when I thought about Orion, the loops stuttered. The air around us cooled. Time thickened slightly. Not panic, anticipation. He didn't understand fusion. He understood threat. Boom Boom stepped beside me. Ba-boom! Mothich steadied. The loop resumed. I activated my communicator. Static, thin. Xenos' voice cut through first. Sharp, alert. Stella Ferris, we felt a distortion. Luna followed seconds later. Temporal and silk signatures overlapping. Is that stable? For now, I answered. But Orion is trying to create obsidian glyphs. Silence on the line. Then Xena inhaled slowly and said, He wouldn't. He would, Luna replied quietly. He's already taken others. I looked at Mothwick. If he fused these creatures by force, the words felt heavy, it won't be just unstable. It'll be a shadow engine. Obsidian glyphs don't just emit shadows. They consume light, they fracture time, they distort gravitational constants. And worst of all, they scream without sound, because the glyphs inside them are still aware, just trapped. If Orion creates one from Mothwick, Tick Wick's fear-triggered time surges, plus Mothich's replication silk, it wouldn't just destabilize terraformia, it would ripple outward, universal scale. On a universal scale. Boom Boom looked up at me. Ba-boom! I know. Xena's voice hardened. Meet at the western ruins. I'll bring Ignazura, Luna replied calmly. And I'll bring Myrno. Luna said calmly. Good. We weren't chasing Orion alone. Mothwick floated higher, wings spreading slightly, not aggressively, but prepared. The air around him shimmered faintly, a stabilizing field forming naturally. He wasn't meant to destroy. He was meant to hold things together, which meant Orion would try to tear him apart. We're moving at first light. Orion thinks forced fusion creates power. He's wrong. It creates fractures, and fractured glyphs spread. If he wants an obsidian glyph, he'll have to take Mothwick from me. And this time, we're ready. Tick, flutter, ba-boom! We headed out at first light. The air smelt cold, like it had been frozen overnight. I could feel Mothwick hovering near me, wings vibrating softly, sand looping in a calm figure eight. Boom Boom waddled beside us, small but steady, murmuring ba-boom every few steps. We had to move fast. Orion was out there somewhere, preparing to force Mothwick into a fusion we could never stop in time if he succeeded. The eastern plains stretched ahead, dew sparkling over long grass. Xena ran slightly ahead, Ignazura perched on her shoulder, Jim eyes scanning for distortions. Luna, sleek and precise as ever, adjusted her pack straps and glanced back at me. Do we have a visual on Orion, I asked, though. I already knew the answer. No, Xena said, but I can feel residual chronoflow. Whoever's tampering with Mothwick leaves traces. Tick, flutter. Mothwick lifted off a few inches, wings catching the first sun, creating faint temporal ripples. The air shimmered where the loops of sand flowed faster. Boom Boom stomped happily. Ba-boom! Quiet, I whispered. We need him calm. An hour into the trek, the world started to fill off. Time folded over itself in small increments. A bird froze midair, then darted forward too fast. A rabbit's steps repeated backward. Orion's close, Luna murmured. This is his doing. The distortion made the terrain uneven. Stones seemed to jump, puddles flowed uphill, shadows stretched and shrank randomly. Mothwick's wings beat harder, sand spun faster, responding instinctively to the chaos. every time he panicked, the distortions intensified, so I had to calm him. "Tick Wick, it's okay," I murmured. "We're steady. You're safe." Tick, flutter. Boom Boom waddled around Mothwick in little circles, murmuring, "Ba-boom, ba-boom." Even Ba-boom, our Boom Boom's steady presence seemed to help. The plains gave way to dense groves of petrified trees. Roots twisted like serpents, the sun barely penetrated, shadows pulled unnaturally. Zenith's sharp eyes scanned the gaps, chronosigns leading north. Orion's been here recently. Luna crouched low, and we're not alone. I can feel something lurking. A sudden gust of wind tore through the trees. Leaves fell upward. Time slowed violently. Mothwick flared his wings instinctively. Sand spun in loops, stabilizing the immediate area but leaving ripples around us. Boom Boom barked, or as close as a ba-boom could be a warning. "Stay sharp," I whispered. "He's testing us." Through the twisted trees we saw it, a figure flickering in and out of time, Orion. He was testing the field, measuring reactions behind him, faint glimmers of an unstable hourglass, and a tangle of golden silk, indicating he had already been experimenting. Mothwick hissed softly, wings vibrating, sand spiraled faster. "Orion," I called, voice firm, "stop this now." He smirked. "Oh, Stella Ferris, you don't understand. This isn't about stopping me. It's about observing. I've learned more from your precious creatures than you could ever imagine." Luna tightened her grip on her staff. "We're not here to negotiate. Move, now, or you'll face us." Orion didn't move, but the air shimmered, shadow energy pulled at his feet. He flicked his fingers, sending a ripple through the chronoflow. The ground buckled slightly. Rocks aged into dust. Time accelerated and burst. Around him, Mothwick spun violently, wings beating fast, sand looping frantically. I grabbed him steady. "Mothwick, we can't have panicked time right now." Tick, flutter. Boom Boom stomped. Ba-boom! The ground beneath Orion crackled as if responding to the combined pressure of instinct and threat. Orion raised his hand. "I'm not done yet, Stella Ferris." He created a temporary mirror portal and disappeared. Zenith shook her head. "He's heading north. The old Glyphs. That's where he'll try the forced fusion next." Luna nodded. "We can't let him complete it. Mothwick needs to stay calm until we intercept." Mothwick hovered near my shoulders, wings folded over his body now, sand moving in slow, steady infinity loop. He was aware enough to understand the urgency instinctively. Boom Boom stepped forward, stamping in solidarity. "Ba-boom!" I exhaled. "All right, team. We move at first light. We catch him before he fuses anything." We traversed broken terrain, broken not by nature, but by Orion's experiments. Time flowed unevenly, making every step a challenge. Mothwick adjusted constantly, creating small zones of stability around us. Boom Boom remained beside me, and beside him, keeping the creature grounded. Zenith flew ahead, Ignazura's gem eyes reflecting the fractured light. Luna moved slightly, scanning for any shadow residue. Every now and then we caught glimpses of faint golden silk thread in the air, Orion's trail. Every ripple in time reminded me why we couldn't wait. We moved fast, but not reckless. Mothwick's wings beat softly. Tick, flutter, boom. Boom Boom's ba-boom became a rhythm, a guide to keep both the creature and us steady. And as the cliffs appeared in the distance, I knew Orion's next move would definitely define whether we were chasing a villain or racing against the collapse of time itself. We reached the clearing just as the sun was peeking over the horizon. But it was too late. The light hit first, golden, radiant, almost pure. Then the fracture. Time fractured. The air shimmered violently. Mothwick hovered at my side, wings flaring in panic, sand looping faster than ever. I squinted. My heart dropped. Boom Boom froze mid-step. Ba-boom! The glow, it wasn't stable, it wasn't Mothwick. The golden light turned black instantly, obsidian. Every feathered wing, every looping grain of sand, every tiny pulse of life inside the fusion crushed into darkness. The original's instincts tried to fight, but they were forced together, one obsidian. It hovered in the clearing, almost identical to Mothwick, in shape and movement, wings beating slowly, sand flowing inside a neat loop, but the color obsidian. Black gleaming, fractured like molten glass. Light bent around it unnaturally. Boom Boom whimpered, "Ba-boom!" Low, unsure. I stepped forward. Every instinct screamed at me to act. Mothwick's soft tick flutter was gone. What remained was something else. Orion had done it. Not a fusion of instinct, not a voluntary bond, forced. The obsidian glyph was created by compression. Two wills forced into one. Its presence warped the clearing. Time stuttered around it. Every heartbeat echoed twice. I realized immediately if we tried to separate it, if it panicked, you could lose more than just terraformia. We could lose reality itself. Boom Boom stepped in front of me. Ba-boom! I placed a hand on his head. I know, buddy. I know. The obsidian glyph stirred. Its wings extended. Sand inside churned like black lava. A ripple of shadow flowed outward. It tilted its head almost like it was studying us. Not understanding, not curious. Just aware. Mothwick's instincts weren't there to stabilize anymore. Tick Wick's careful loops weren't there to anchor time. Everything around it shivered. Time accelerated and burst. Leaves decayed and regrew in seconds. Birds flickered into mid-air, then disappeared. I had to act. "Zena! Luna!" I shouted. Zena flew in, Ignazor glowing, gem eyes scanning the rippling temporal field. Luna landed gracefully beside me, muscles coiled ready. "This isn't just a shadow glyph," I said. "It's forced instincts crushed together. It's an obsidian glyph." Zena's eyes widened. "We've only read about them in historical anomalies. They're unstable, dangerous beyond containment." Boom Boom barked sharply. Ba-boom! I nodded. "I know. That's why we have to act carefully. One wrong move and we can't undo this." We spread out in a circle around the new obsidian glyph. Mothwick had been replaced in appearance, but instinct remained faintly detectable, just enough to sense panic. I whispered, "We can't fight it. We have to stabilize it." Senna hovered slightly above Ignazor's gem light, reflecting on the fractured obsidian, testing the outer aura. Luna crouched low, ready to intercept it if it reacted violently. Mothwick's sand loops had been replaced with black currents. Every flap of wings sent temporal pulses. The ground warped, rocks aged, leaves flickered in and out of existence. Boom Boom padded forward. Ba-boom! Ba-boom! Even the smallest heartbeat helped anchor the creature. I extended my hand palm outward. "Listen," I murmured to the creature. "You're not alone. We're not here to hurt you. Just breathe. Just stay steady." The obsidian glyph hesitated. The pulse slowed slightly. One wing dipped cautiously. Tick, flutter. Not Mothwick, not Tick Wick, but faint echoes of both. I felt the threads. Not instincts fully merged, but residues. We could work with this. Boom Boom barked. Ba-boom! A gentle rhythm steady. The obsidian glyph paused, wings folding slightly. Sand slowed to a manageable loom. Orion created an obsidian glyph, a forced fusion, not balanced, not voluntary. We have to stabilize it, not fight it, not destroy it, because if it panics, if it fractures completely, time itself could unravel, and that's why I'll never let him get away with this again. Tick, flutter, ba-boom! We had to act fast. Mothwick's instincts weren't there anymore. The obsidian glyph was unstable, so we used Blessed Goddess. Senna chanted first. Golden water rained down from her hands, shimmering like liquid sunlight. Luna followed, weaving threads of her own magic to steady the fall. Boom Boom barked, hopping into the mist. Ba-boom! The obsidian wings shivered as droplets hit time's wild ripples. Slowed. The sand inside the glyph's core churned gently, no longer erratic. I stepped back. Darkwick. He hadn't fully returned, but he was grounded, stable, predictable. Of course, nothing ever goes smoothly. A portal shimmered open above the clearing. Orion appeared, stepping out with his usual smirk. "Ah," he said mockingly. "Thank you. Very kind of you to water him for me." Before we could react, he extended a hand. Darkwick grounded, calm, responded. Sand and wings obeyed instinct, not ours. Orion grabbed the creature. The obsidian fusion's wings wrapped reflexively around him, and just like that, he vanished through the mirror portal. We slowed him, we grounded him, but Orion, he didn't care. He took Darkwick, the obsidian glyph he had stabilized, and now he has him. Tick flutter. Ba-boom!